warmers and scent like an F1 car.
Yes, indeed. No such luxury here, though. Today they're going to have to work pretty hard to get some temperature into the tyres, because actually the temperature has dipped a little bit. There's a bit more cloud cover now. We're late into the afternoon. It's 5:30 in the afternoon here in Castle Combe, so the tyres will take a little bit more work now to get them into the proper window. So Darren Lewis and Bruce Winfield on the front row of the grid for round number 4 then of the championship. There go the top 2 in the VW Cup, although I was looking actually at the VW Cup points a second ago, and although we're kind of talking about Jack Depper versus Ollie Turner a lot, Ollie is still only 4th in the championship because he had that only scored 2 points from the opening race at Silverstone. So Ollie Turner still has a bit of work to do actually to get himself fully into championship contention. There goes Danny Crevet in the number 14 car. He's been on a pretty steep learning curve, getting used to racing, a complete racing newbie. And in his first 2 race weekends, he goes and races at the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone, in which he had an accident, and then comes to Castle Combe, one of the proper old school circuits. Good to see, though, every time I've seen him in the paddock, Danny, that he's still got that smile on his face. He's still enjoying it.
Yeah, and do you know what's great about him as well is he tries to finish as many laps as he can. And the great thing about that is you will learn more, and XLO, the learning curve. So you've got to be on track and get as much seat time and make sure the car and everything is feeling good for you. So that's how you learn. And yeah, he's been pretty good as Crevet. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I think he'll get there. It's a pretty big jump now to make from no racing at all straight into a TCR car in a TCR competition. It's one thing to jump into one in an endurance series or something, but this is a different beast altogether. So the Honda Civic safety car will pull into the pit lane, hopefully. Oh, no, it actually doesn't pull into the pit lane. It pulls into a little, it's got its own private parking spot just on the inside of the final corner. It will, though, vacate the circuit and allow the rest of the field to line up on the grid. Well, place your bets, everyone. This is going to be a lively race. Lewis Kent really wants to win. He really wants to take advantage here of Max Hart being towards the back of the grid. You've got people like Jack Constable who feel they were robbed of a chance to maybe win a race in the earlier one. You've got Max himself coming from the back of the field. And then a couple of drivers on the front row, Paul, who would absolutely love to get a result out of this. Difficult to call a winner, as always, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, do you know, I think that the 2 lads on the front, I think they've got a real good shout. You know, there's nothing to lose for either of them. And Winfield, for me, I think he's been one of the standout drivers of the whole weekend.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't see why off pole Darren Lewis can't win it. I think, do you know what? I think this is going to be battle royale. I really think it is.
I do hope so. Right then, round number 4 of the Maximum Networks VW Racing Cup, incorporating the Goodyear Touring Car Trophy and TCR UK. It's the world's longest championship name, but yes, earlier on today produced an absolute thriller. Let's see what round number 4 has in store for us. The lights go out. We're away and racing. Darren Lewis on the left, Bruce Winfield on the right. I think Winfield might have got the jump as they head towards the first corner. He's just about got his nose ahead on the outside line. Further back, keep an eye on Max Hart as he tries to fight his way through the pack. They all descend upon Quarry for the first time. This could end in tears. Darren Lewis on the inside, round the outside. Winfield, Jack Constable out of nowhere is challenging for third round the outside of Bradley Kent. What a demon start he's had, and there's a gap on the inside almost for second place. It doesn't quite work. Danny Crevet has a bit of a moment, whilst Jack Depper and Ollie Turner have already got themselves to the front of the VW Racing Cup part of the field. What is going on at the head of the field, though? They head through the S's, down towards Tower. Another good overtaking opportunity. What order are they in? It's Darren Lewis with the lead. It's Winfield in second place, and that looks like the Kents third and fourth, so Darren Lewis held on.
Yeah, he really did, didn't he? Only just, though, because to be fair, Winfield, look, he made a mega start. The first phase of his start was awesome. Got hardly any wheel spin and really got it alongside him. But look at this. This is, they've pulled away, haven't they? They've really pulled away.
They have, haven't they? Bradley Kent and Lewis Kent, perhaps a bit of team orders coming in here. Winfield up the inside of Darren Lewis into camp. You don't see many overtakes there, especially on cold tyres. Winfield is well up for this, but he wants to clear Darren Lewis here, doesn't he, before some of the really quick, experienced drivers come through from further back. The game is on then. Up through Avon Rise, into Folly, the left-hand kink, over the big bump, and into Quarry. Is there a gap on the inside for Winfield? No, so he goes to the outside instead, not trying to go right round the outside, but instead get the cut back, carry the speed off the corner. That's what he's trying to do. Darren Lewis comes over to cover. There's a big squeeze. They disappear from sight into the S's. Hopefully they avoided contact there, because that looked as though they were going to meet somewhere in the middle there, didn't it? Really, really good racing, this.
It was proper edgy stuff, that was. He just seemed to cut across him just and give him enough space. But yeah, that could have ended one way or the other. That was pretty special stuff. Oh, look at that. They gapped him now. He really needs to get past him, doesn't he?
Yeah, the more Darren Lewis defends, the more it holds them both up, the more it brings Bradley and Lewis Kent right back into the picture. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them absolutely tied together as they come towards Camp Corner at the end of lap number 2. Max Hart, by the way, only picked up 5 places on the first lap. He's into the top 10 already. Bradley Kent tries to have a go at the inside of Winfield. This is the trouble for Bruce now. He's had his little shot at getting past Darren Lewis, and now he's attacking and defending at the same time.
So his brother's passed him. Lewis has got the move done. Bradley may have lifted and come out of that, but this could be a win here, couldn't it, for Lewis?
Max Hart is 6th, Paul. He is 6th already, and the more these leaders squabble, the more he's got a shot of getting in the fight for the race victory. Lewis Kent almost into the back of Bruce Winfield for second. There, look in the background, Dan Kirby, Max Hart, both from the back of the grid, are catching the leaders at a fast rate of knots. Jack Constable, by the way, is down in 12th place for some reason, but has set the fastest lap of the race. So something's happened to Constable. Clearly, though, the car is still working well. Here they come. We've got them all together again now. Darren Lewis starting to stretch away. Winfield second, really feeling the heat now.
Yeah, Lewis is gone, isn't he? And that looks like a move. Is that job done? Ooh. On the grass and down the inside. Lewis Kent, how have you done that? Your differential must be amazing. Bring your brother with you.
Oh, he has as well. Bradley Kent squeezes through. I'm not convinced Lewis was entirely on the racetrack there, and I'm pretty sure that will be what Bruce Winfield's saying. Oh, Dan Kirby's engine's let go again. Look at that. Oh, is that bodywork, actually? Oh, I think there's been contact, hasn't there? Possibly between Kirby and Winfield, because Winfield has dropped back behind Max Hart, and Dan Kirby, we add him now to the list of unlucky
drivers. Look at that
drivers.
front left. That looks like a strut or something has let go, drive shaft or something. That was a lot of oil. I think that was maybe the gearbox getting pulled apart, and we'll have to see. But is that contact? Because there was a bit of damage there on the body, wasn't there?
Well, and Winfield dropped back significantly. Kirby would have been the next car in line behind Bruce, wouldn't he? So there you can see Bruce has dropped behind Max Hart into the clutches, actually, of Race 1 winner Darrell Wilson, who has accompanied Toby Byrne and Alex Kite. Told you he was pretty handy around here. He's up into 8th place now from his relatively lowly grid position. So there is Dan Kirby's car off the road. Sadly, another race to forget for Dan. 2 non-finishes here from Castle Combe. At the front of the field then, Darren Lewis leads. Lewis Kent is second. His brother Bradley is third. Max Hart is 4th already. And we're going to see soon, I think, just how close he is. He's dropped a bit of time to the leading 3. But every lap that Darren Lewis leads, with the greatest of respect, is going to play into the hands of people like Max Hart behind.
Definitely, and we're going to see what minerals Max Hart's got here, because this is his time to shine, to get back on terms. And I tell you what, that Mercedes A-Class is fending off for its life. He's in the tow.
Yeah, here comes Lewis then. He's in the slipstream heading up the hill, but Darren Lewis will know how to defend here. Lewis Kent tries to get up the inside. I don't think there was room, though. Darren is going to have to really concentrate now. He's got 15 minutes to go. Danny Crevago's rally crossing coming across the start-finish line. Kept his foot in it there, didn't he?
Yeah, but that's going to be an overheating issue. That thing is full of grass. You've got to keep an eye out. Oh, is that Byrne?
Yeah, that's Kite ahead of Byrne for 7th now then. So Alex Kite continues his forward progress. So does Jack Constable, by the way, into 10th position now. Right, deep breath everyone, here we go again. Top 3 together, heading down towards Tower Corner. Lewis still leads the way from Lewis. That's Darren Lewis ahead of Lewis Kent, with Bradley Kent in 3rd position. Lewis knows here, doesn't he then, I suppose, that it's his brother and teammate behind him. Does that maybe leave Lewis a bit freer to try something adventurous with Darren Lewis?
Maybe, but let me tell you something, as the move looks like he's got to get it done, because Max Hart has took 1.6 seconds out of them all. Look at him. He's got a bit of damage on the front right, actually, as he's done him round the outside for the lead.
Wow, round the outside at Camp Corner. That can't be done, can it? And it's delayed Darren Lewis as well. So Bradley Kent is up the inside for 2nd place. This is costing them time, though. Max Hart in 4th has the fastest lap of the race, and on the previous lap was a full 2nd quicker than Lewis Kent, who is now the race leader. Bradley Kent is brother 2nd. Now what do you do if you're Bradley Kent? You've never won one of these races before. It's only your 4th ever TCR race, and the man you've got to beat is your brother.
Oh, I tell you what, he was looking quite racy though, Bradley, to be fair to him, and that's what we want to see.
Jeff Alden here, meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, has a pretty lonely race going on here, doesn't he?
Yeah, but it's good to see that car didn't suffer any massive damage when it went off on that green flag lap. Must have just touched the barrier. bit of flapping from the bonnet, but it doesn't seem too bad, so not too bad for him. He's up in P3 in that class.
Ollie Turner is in the pit lane. Don't know why, don't know when that happened, but Jack Depper therefore has a lead in the VW Racing Cup now, quite a sizable one, over Russell Choice in second place. If he was happy before, he'll be ecstatic now. Max Hart, headlights flashing, he's ahead of Darren Lewis, he's into third place. It's a Hyundai, 1, 2, 3, Lewis Kent, Bradley Kent, Max Hart. Hart is the quicker of the three. This is going to get tasty, isn't it? Still 13 minutes of this race to go, and he's come from the back of the grid to third place, Paul, and only 1.2 seconds off the lead.
Absolutely unbelievable, and it's just fastest lap after fastest lap, but I don't know whether he's took the time out the tyres, but still it's 3/10 quicker on that lap. And what's going to happen here? He's big understeer, and that's going to now give Lewis the chance to attack him at the chicane. But I tell you what, those two brothers up front, they might have to work together, and this could get very fiery.
Well, yes, because Bradley Kent is matching Lewis's pace, even though they're now both in clean air. So at some point, the call might come from Bradley saying, hey, boss/dad, I'm quicker than Lewis, he needs to let me through. I'm not convinced Lewis, the mood he's in today, is going to listen to that, but this could be a really awkward drive home for the Kent family, who run these cars themselves. Remember, it's a family-run team. They don't have the sort of budget and support of some of the other teams out there, but they won the championship last year with Lewis Kent. They brought his younger brother, Brad, in now to race alongside him, in theory, to try and help Lewis and the team go quicker by having a second driver's data to go off. Oh, Max Hart completely out of shape in the background from third place. That's going to lose him a lot of momentum, but he could have lost a lot more there, couldn't he?
Wow, I think that could be game over now. He's just going to have to settle for third. He's now down to fourth.
Yes, so Darren Lewis has gone through, but how did he save that car? Because we noticed in qualifying, didn't we? He was fully committed through Camp Corner. When the car gets away from you there, we saw this from Alex Kite in race 1, you don't often get away with it.
No, it's usually game. I mean, he was so sideways on the way into camp. Usually, you've got two options. You either surrender or just open the throttle wide open and hope for the best. He did the latter, and he got away with it. But these two Kent lads, they've got it all to do now. They've just got to make sure they don't make each other defend, lose time, just be nice and tidy, and that should be a massive haul of points for the both of them.
Yes, because they've now inherited basically a 3-second lead or so over third place, which might still be Max Hart. Yeah, he's got back ahead of Darren Lewis, who has vanished, I think. I couldn't see Darren Lewis there in the background. Now, where has he gone? Through go the leaders. Let's see if we can hold this shot at the first corner at Folly. There's Hart third. That was Winfield fourth and Darrell Wilson fifth. So Darren Lewis has disappeared, and yeah, he's not coming through, is he? So there's been drama somewhere for the Mercedes.
Dear, well, that's not ending well, is it? We've had a bit of a nightmare for our front guys, haven't we? They just dropped when really I didn't think they would. So there's another Mercedes A-Class going slow. That's Byrne, isn't it? Yeah, not like it was going slow, but he's in sixth place. So
well, he was. He isn't now because he was going slowly, so presumably some sort of an issue. He's dropped behind Constable, Kite, and I think Will Butler, hasn't he? So Will Butler's into 8th position now. It's a job to keep track of everything that's changing here, and we've only just ticked past half race distance. 9 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. Lewis Kent leads from Bradley Kent by 0.4 of a second. It is Max Hart back into third, but at the start of this, the ninth lap, he was 4.2 seconds behind these two. Lewis is not getting away, though. Is this team formation, do you think, or is Bradley genuinely quicker?
No, this is... Look at the attitude of the car. You do not follow that closely for a giggle. It's just, it's too dangerous. Oh, too dangerous. I mean, look, you can see there how hard he is pushing on. He is pushing on properly hard. He knows he's got to win this. And I hope for the sake of both of them that nothing happens here, because all it needs is a bit of a long brake pedal, and that'll be it. Bradley will be in the back of Lewis.
Max Hart on the previous lap, 1 minute 7.69 compares to a 108.3 for the leader, 108.4 for Bradley Kent. So he is 0.8 of a second quicker than Bradley Kent on the previous lap.
Yeah, and Byrne into the pits.
Was that left front puncture maybe? I couldn't quite see.
Couldn't quite see that. Very slow up the hill, wasn't he, though? So yeah, it's all happening, isn't it? And if he stays at that rate, he would catch him, but it'd be close at the end, I think.
Yeah, well, 8 3/4 minutes to go, so they're going to get another 7, maybe 8 laps in, depending on when they cross the line for the final time. So I don't know. It's going to be a nail-biter. He can't afford any more moments like the one that he had at camp a few laps ago, that's for sure. Right, now, the next problem for the Kents is traffic. Of course, we had that safety car in race 1, so they never really caught the back of the VW Racing Cup field. Now, though, they do have a couple of slower cars to negotiate. First of all, the number 19 of Jeff Alden, who was on pole position, remember, in the VW Cup. Sees them coming, stays well out of the way. Good driving that from Jeff.
Proper driving that from Jeff, but it's so dirty offline, isn't it? And look at that rear right locking on Lewis's car. That's pretty savage. It's very dirty offline. Look, that's what's caught Max out, I think, when he understeered off at this very corner a few laps ago. But yeah, I think there's a gap come down another 0.4.
Well, Max Hart on the previous lap was about 8 tenths quicker than the leader. So it's big chunks he's taking here, isn't it, as well? It's not just a tenth or so here or there. He is significantly quicker than the race leaders, and we still have 7.5 minutes to go. The top 3 are covered by 3.2 seconds, near enough. Bruce Winfield is 4th, Darrell Wilson is 5th, Jack Constable back to 6th after this yo-yo race that he's had, with 7th place Will Butler having moved ahead of Alex Kite on the previous lap. Bradley and Lewis Kent both dive up the inside of Russell Joyce, that is it, the number 72 car, and head into Camp Corner. Both of them compromised a bit there. Both had to go into Camp Corner on a slightly tighter line than they'd like. What are the lap times going to be then? A 1:08.4 for the leader, 1:08.4 for second place, 1:08.3 for Max Hart. So he wasn't that much quicker that time, was he?
No.
Oh, change for the lead. Wowzers. Great move down the inside. There's no team orders, and that's going to be another switchback.
Oh, they're side by side, are they? No, Bradley has done it. Bradley Kent, who is only in his 4th ever race in a touring car, and he has just taken the race lead from his reigning championship winning brother. Wow, I did not see that coming. But you know what? We've seen this from Silverstone, haven't we? Straight off the bat in the first testing sessions at Silverstone, Bradley was every bit as quick as Lewis.
That is going to be the most awkward game of Grand Theft Auto tonight when they get home on multiplayer.
Yes, there might be a little bit of frustration being vented, I reckon, on that. Or FIFA. I believe FIFA is their game of choice, although you can do less damage to each other in that, so I've been told. Anyway, the Kents are still 1-2, but now in the other order, this might be the best thing for them, though. If the Kents want to win this race, Bradley might have been their best bet, actually, as it happens, given the way Max Hart was catching them. This is Jack Depper, who's having a lovely Monday afternoon drive out there, leading in the VW Racing Cup. He's got a lead of about 7 seconds or so, and so the green Scirocco leads in the VW Cup fairly handsomely, but it is... Oh, that's Jack Constable going slowly, is it?
That looks well steady. Window down as well is never a good sign. I would have thought he'd come in the pits if he had a big problem.
Yeah, that's interesting, but the car isn't picking up pace, is it? Like it was a spin or something that he's recovering from, so that looks relatively terminal.
14 seconds he's lost on that lap. Yeah, that car is pretty terminal, I think.
Yeah, didn't sound great either, did it, when it went through? So that's a pity. A day of what could have been, really, for Jack, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He deserves to be up the front. The lad is a proper fast driver, so it is an interesting situation there. They're dropping like flies, aren't they?
There will be no one left at this rate. Right, that is the biggest gap we've had between these two Hyundais the whole race, which tells me that Bradley genuinely was quicker than Lewis Kent. He's got the lead. He's starting to make a little bit of a break. What do you think? What can you tell from the body language of the cars that is giving Bradley the edge? Has he saved his tyres better?
Do you know, it could be, but I think it's just one of them situations where one's better than the other in sectors. I did notice that Bradley was a bit more cautious through Camp Corner, the last corner coming onto the straight. But Lewis will be maybe a bit quicker through the technical stuff because it just seems to yo-yo. But Max Hart, I don't know if he's got enough energy in his tyres to catch up to the back of even P2 for Lewis. So, but yeah, it only needs one mistake from the front two, and that'll be it. Game over. Back with him, Max Hart will be.
Yeah, Max is 2 seconds behind Lewis Kent and was half a second quicker on the previous lap. So on that maths, he needs 4 laps to get there, and that's probably about what he's got. That is Constable's car, which I'm hoping has found the escape road down at Bobby's, the second chicane, because, yeah, it looks like it has. So yellow flag's out for now whilst he gets out of the car, but they shouldn't have to stay there for the rest of the race. There's your VW leader, Jack Depper, who's actually gapped Dan Wiley in that NGTC BMW. I know Dan's not that experienced in that car, but that says an awful lot about just how quickly Jack Depper is going, and there you can see the gap back first to Wiley, then to the overall race leaders, and still we wait for another VW to appear in shot, and yeah, there it is, just in the background there was the second place VW appearing, so a big gap there.
Yeah, I was just going to say about the BMW, with it being rear-wheel drive, bumpy rear-wheel drive and fast circuits do not go well together as he gets well out of the way. But them tyres will be getting choked right up on the dust there. But Max Hart, again, he really is just giving it his all, isn't he? Oh, this is close.
Yeah, this is 5th, 6th and 7th then. Darrell Wilson, the Green Astra, forces Will Butler onto the grass over Avon Rise. And Alex Kite says, thank you very much. I'll just nip up the inside and steal that 6th place back. So they're still actually in the order they crossed the line, with Wilson 5th, Kite 6th and Butler 7th. But that was very, very close. Not the place to be on the grass, that.
Yeah, they're still in the same positions, but with just less wing mirrors.
Yes.
Fiberglass hanging off the car.
Well, Robbins racing is something they say, isn't it? Especially in touring car racing. Leading trio now, pretty equidistant, aren't they now, actually? Max is almost as close to Lewis as Lewis is to Brad out in front. The tyres, you can hear the punishment they're going through that final quarter. It's so rare we get to hear that, isn't it? The actual squealing of a slick racing tyre. You really, really have to be pushing it hard, don't you, to do that sort of damage to it?
Yeah, you do. And you know, Bradley is driving an excellent race here, because he's the quickest of the trio. And I think it might actually be Lewis that's going to get caught out here by Max, because he's starting now to be in the jaws where Max wants him.
There's quite a big part of me that's quite happy Max has caught Lewis, because there's a bit of a grudge match developing between these two, and I am quite interested to see how they handle this final couple of minutes of racing, because you're right, Max is almost there with him. Lewis was delayed by Jack Depper inadvertently going through Quarry, and that will have cost him another few tenths as well. So by the end of this lap, with possibly still another 2 laps to go after this one, I think, they could be right together. Wait for them to come into sight then on the run out of Bobby's. There's the leader, Bradley Kent. And no, hang on, that is... No, it's all right. Brad's already gone. Lewis second, Max Hart in third. Getting closer and closer, but he's just running out of time, isn't he?
Yeah, but you know what? This is critical now. This is so critical, because it's not really about the toe, it's about... I'd have my headlights on. If I was Max Hart now, I'd have them lights flashing, making sure he was not looking at his braking points and locking a rear and having a bit of oversteer on the turning, bit of understeer on the exit, touching the grass. Oh, the leader! Oh, mate, you don't want to be taking too much of that. They're close now. Second and third are proper close.
Max Hart really pushing the car there through Quarry, wasn't he? Lots of understeer. Back to this battle for 5th. Darrell Wilson with Alex Kite and Will Butler. Butler is attacking Kite now. Remember, Kite in that DSG Cooper, a little bit heavier maybe, which makes his performance in this race all the more impressive. Butler tries to go around the outside. Darrell Wilson sideways in front of them both, and they almost meet in the middle. Butler's on the grass. Wilson's going backwards, and Alex Kite picks up another place.
Oh, that was amazing. What a lad. I tell you what, Alex Kite has had an absolute stormer, isn't he? Fair play. They got that car fixed up, and the team gave me the thumbs up before down on the grid, and yeah, fair play. There's not long to go, is there? But it looks like it's plateauing this. I think the tyres are done, and it's just going to be a situation where you just got to control the understeer.
Yeah, but we've seen the track is filthy up at Quarry, probably because a number of people have been off there throughout the day. Now the lights are flashing for Max Hart. He won't really care where he finishes in this race. If there's one person he wants to beat, it's the man right ahead of him, Lewis Kent, and he's so close, 7/10 of a second behind him. The leader's out of shape, they're all struggling on that dirt. It's not inconceivable that one of the leading three could still make a mistake.
Definitely, and we've seen all of them really either oversteer or understeer through that corner, so they just got to keep it tidy, and it's, you know, if they're close enough at the chicane, they can just upset them and get a run out of the last corner.
Alex Kite now defending his newly acquired 5th place from Will Butler, because they both got themselves past Darrell Wilson. No one is on the right line through Quarry. They're all understeering wide, partly because the tyres have gone, partly because the track is covered in dust. Right, the time has ticked down to 0. The checkered flag is waiting, and Bradley Kent is coming down towards the final turn. What a historic moment this is. His brother Lewis is the reigning TCR UK champion. Bradley Kent, in only his 4th ever race in the category, is a winner. He wins round number 4 of the Maximum Networks VW Racing Cup, incorporating the Goodyear Touring Car Trophy, and most importantly, TCR UK. Wow, he will be so happy, and a 1-2 for the team as well. Lewis Kent in second, Max Hart, a valiant chase, but 3rd place in the end is as good as it gets. Bruce Winfield will come home in 4th, but Bradley Kent will be the happiest man here at Castle Combe. What a result.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. My congratulations personally to him as a young man. it's an amazing achievement, especially around a circuit like here, where it really is brawn and you have to be controlled and have that aggression in your back pocket when you need it. So absolutely fantastic for him. Great result for the Kents, isn't it? A 1-2, but Max Hart just tried a bit too hard, I think, didn't he?
Yes, but still, 14th on the grid to 3rd ain't bad, and it's valuable points. He didn't score anything really out of the first race, and Max Hart, yeah, I agree, I think he took too much out of the tyres in the early stages, but what choice did he have? He had to try and make some ground up in the early laps, and make ground up he absolutely did. I think the spectators who have been waiting so long to get back to the track here at Castle Combe have been treated to a pair of great races.
It's definitely the best races I've seen, to be fair, in this championship. Absolutely amazing. They've done a great job. Put on a great show for us, and yeah, I think worthy winners.
Max Hart not hanging around to celebrate with the Kents. He's keen to get back to the pit lane, and we'll look forward to catching up with these three a little bit later on. Keep an eye on the social media channels for all of the reaction to a dramatic 4th round of the championship. Bradley Kent, though, is the race winner. 2nd place for Lewis Kent, and Max Hart in 3rd position. Drama all the way, and that is actually kind of how we like it, really. They pull into Parc Ferme, and by the way, just to complete running down the order, well, we'll give you the full result, shall we? It was Bradley Kent from Lewis Kent at the front, Max Hart 3rd, Bruce Winfield 4th, Alex Kite 5th. I mean, a great result in and of itself, but especially given the fact that he's so new to the car. He had such a disaster in the earlier race with that accident at the end of lap number 2, and he managed to come through there to take a 5th position. Will Butler was 6th, 7th place Darrell Wilson, 8th then for Jack Depper, who wins the VW Racing Cup. Then we've got the Dan Wiley driven BMW next. That came home in 9th position, 8th in the TCT, with Russell Joyce getting 2nd place in the VW Cup, Jeff Alden 3rd, Jack Constable then was the first of many retirements, sadly, Darren Lewis, Toby Byrne, Danny Crevet, Will Turner, and that man, Dan Kirby, right on cue, who unfortunately has had no luck at all. I hope he hasn't bought a lottery ticket this week, because the way his luck's going, that would be a complete waste of money, quite frankly. Dan Kirby was in good spirits when I spoke to him after race 1, even though his engine had given way. But that looks as though, I mean, it could have been contact. It could equally have been curb strike or something like that. You know, these cars, this circuit, the curbs around here are pretty lethal, and it's definitely possible to rip a wheel off on a curb or a tyre stack, something like that. So we'll see. We'll see if we can find out ahead of the next rounds of the championship, which are coming to you, by the way, from Brands Hatch. It's a triple header, 3 races on the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit on the 19th and 20th of June. We then head to Alton Park on the 17th of July. Anglesey on the 8th of August. Really excited for that one. And it all finishes, quite an early finish actually, on another bank holiday Monday, this time at the end of August, the 30th of August, for the grand finale at Donington Park. So the reaction then of the drivers down in the pit lane. Lewis Kent there getting interviewed by Josh Barrett, the circuit commentator. Bradley Kent in the background, look, getting all of the celebration there in with his team. What an incredible performance from the youngster. 19 years of age. 19 years old. And his brother Lewis is only 21. I mean, their combined age is terrifyingly low. And they are stars of the future, as is Max Hart. Max Hart with a brilliant drive. I mean, that arguably was driver of the race, really, to come through from, where did he start? 14th up to 3rd. They all drove really good races, but Max Hart, a lot of overtaking in those early stages. Bruce Winfield also kind of overlooked in all of that because he was fairly lonely. He was 10 seconds behind those three and some 13 seconds ahead of the Alex Kite, Will Butler and Darrell Wilson scrap. So Bruce Winfield was a real star performer, actually, over the course of the whole day, with 2 really solid top 5 finishes. So the post-race celebrations then begin, and the podium will be coming up very shortly. Hopefully we'll get a chance to chat to our podium finishers. And I'm sure they'll have some real stories to tell there. Castle Combe always delivers, though, doesn't it? I mean, we had probably some of the most entertaining racing here 4 years ago in TCR UK's first year when we came and raced at Castle Combe, and the action today has really been a repeat of that, but actually even more dramatic, even more exciting. So yeah, it's going to be a really thrilling season, I'm sure, but Castle Combe definitely has set the benchmark for the rest of the year. So Paul O'Neill, I think, is a bit worried about his sunburn, maybe. It's a bit warmer than we're used to up in the northwest of the country, myself and Paul. It's been a glorious weekend weather-wise, actually, with a fog this morning and a bit of cloud just before the second TCT race started. But the temperature is still really high, and great to be able to enjoy some nice weather at a racetrack. Not something that we always get to experience, it must be said. And Castle Combe have put on a great show. The circuit is in a great state. They really look after the place. As I said, they don't host a huge amount of race meetings, but if you are interested in coming to a really well-supported club-level meeting, you can do a lot worse than coming to Cadwell Park. It is out in the sticks down here in the southwest of the country, but well worth the trip. Maybe make a long weekend of it and come along to one of their bank holiday meetings, because the racing is always really, really good. Big grids. And as we saw there from the TCT drivers, Paul O'Neill, always really exciting.
It's just been an absolute pleasure.
Winner. How's that?
Feels pretty good, to be honest.
Well, I think we have possibly lost Paul O'Neill there. The signal not quite stretching that far to the to the podium, I should say. It's typical, though, isn't it? Because it was working perfectly until the very second Paul opened his mouth. I think his thick Scouse accent maybe has confused some of the electrics in the microphone. They'll work on getting that sorted. The electronics, not Paul's Scouse accent. Not much we can do about that, really, is there? Let's see then if we can maybe get this sorted, because I would love to hear from Bradley Kent, our race winner.
So, but on the actual entrance of the corner, going into Quarry, I think it is the first corner, if you literally just click the inside of that apex, dust flies up everywhere. And poor old Lewis behind me, he's getting it all back in his windscreen. But no, there's quite a few different places on the track where dust flicks up in bits and pieces, which doesn't help because it always puts you off. And but yeah, we kept it clean and we did what we needed to do, so that's the main thing.
That was amazing. Brother, to be fair, we were calling it as, you know, you probably won't go at each other hard, but fair play, mate, you made a proper move. And was there ever you thinking I'll stay behind him, or was it like, nah, I've got to get the win?
100%. I genuinely would have sat for a second, because as soon as I saw Max coming up behind us, I genuinely thought he was going to catch us. So no, but to be fair to Lewis, he got out of the way a little bit down the straight, but we won't talk about that. We'll say I won fair and square. But no, we work together, and that's what we're here to do, and we're hoping to keep doing that through the year, hopefully.
And different parts of the track, he was faster, but that smile, no one can take that away, mate.
No one can take it away.
Top man, have a good rest of the day, mate. Spot on. Absolutely cracking from Bradley. Let's get his brother in. Where is he? Here he is. Hello, mate. That was quite an interesting race, wasn't it? I thought you were going to just let him get past you, but he proper had a go, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a few goes, and old Mercedes happened. For some reason, it connected. It was Valtteri, it's James, and I just pulled out of the way and let him pass. But no, he's a stellar driver. At the end of the day, I've always said Brad's fast. Brad's very fast. In his first test in the wet, he was faster than me. So, just shows we've definitely got the pace. You know, we're really looking forward to our next track. It's Brad. It's our home track. That's where we do all our testing. I said to everyone, I must have done at least 6,000 laps around that place now. It gets a bit boring after a while. But no, it was a cracking race. You know, it got to the last couple of laps, I could see Max in my mirrors. I thought, right, I'm gonna have to knuckle down now and get going. But no, we thankfully held it off and yeah, brought a 1-2 home.
That must be great for your dad especially and the whole team. But I must admit, mate, you said 6,000 laps. Your brother had 6,000 degrees of opposite lock-on going into turn 2. What was all that about?
Yeah, I have no idea. He tried to do what I did in the first race. I think he may have wound it a little bit too much to the rear on the bias and locked a couple of rears every now and then, but he managed to keep it. He managed to push on. He was definitely faster than me, so I think we got another person to look out for on the championship.
Yeah, and that's the thing we forget, because sometimes we speak about a two-horse race. It really isn't, because everyone's still up for grabs, aren't they, now with the new situation?
Yeah, well, exactly. You see how all the different cars are and the BOP and all the rest of it. they're matched so much. So really anyone could win it. It is a tough championship. You know, I've been in it 4 years now and I've only won it once. So it does show, you know, there's 3 years, 3 different cars have won it and then 3 different people. So it's anyone's game. It's anyone's to win. But yeah, hopefully it can be an Essex Kent Motorsport car.
And your cheeky little brother probably giving it the big one. Listen, I'll let you crack on. Spot on. Enjoy your moment. I think your team done a great job. Good lad. Spot on. Max Hart. Hello, mate. Difficult one this weekend. Obviously, on what had gone on, technical infringement. I don't know how you must be feeling, mate, but you give it absolutely everything then, didn't you?
Yeah, certainly mixed emotions, especially after that first race. I have to keep this PG, so I suppose the second race then we'll just get on to that. I just had to. I was getting too aggressive and pushing a bit too hard, and I was making too many mistakes, and ultimately I think that's what lost me that race, to be honest.
You were definitely going to win that one if you'd run. I think you ran wide at turn 1 up the hill, but also you just had a big oversteer. You were lucky to catch it actually going through Camp Corner.
Yeah, if you think that one was big, I had 2 out of the first chicane, and they were really big ones. And making too many mistakes, these lads, they'll make the most of it. But yeah, we had the pace, and we know we had the pace. They know we had the pace, so I'm looking forward to the next race.
And you really think you could have got past them? Because it's difficult to do that, isn't it?
100%.
So we move on to the next round. What's the plan?
Win.
Win big.
Win big.
Top man. Spot on stuff for Max Hart. Right, okay. Let's move on to our boys. Here's me fave again. Let's have the winner. Hello, Jack.
I do like to keep my word.
Mate, I spoke to you just before you headed out on track. You were like, yeah, definitely. And you won by quite a margin as well.
It was all right. Felt like another Sunday drive for me. I'm not too sure what happened to Ollie, but he was in my mirrors. Saw him on the grass. I was like, oh, all right then. It was all right. I mean, before the race, I probably psyched myself up for some massive battle. Back of the garage. And then, you know, kind of ended up being gifted, really. Can't complain, though. P1, hey?
It does all right for the championship, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, I hope I'm in the lead. I don't think anyone can beat me at the moment, but yeah.
Big statements, mate. I love it. Yeah, your dad was quite complimentary as well. He was saying you were definitely going to win as well, so...
Oh. Was he? Well, he was telling me that I need to get my head down and stop telling everyone I'm going to win.
Yeah, he did come over and have a bit of a cheeky word with me, mate.
Some motivation.
A motivational speech by your dad. Have you any idea where P2 and P3 are? Oh, excellent. That'd be great if you could get them. Unless Jack wants to talk for the rest of the evening. Actually, yeah, you probably could. Look at Joycey. He's had like the best day ever, hasn't he? He's had a cracking old day, hasn't he? Well done, mate. What a weekend you've had.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's great. So it's yeah, I mean, a bit of that is down to people not finishing races, but you've got to finish, as they always say, don't you? But yeah, third in the first race, second in the second race, must put us quite up the championship quite nicely as well. You know, whilst we all say we're not worried about that, we're all thinking about it. And car was really good. I think we all suffered with brakes towards the end. That made it a bit more challenging.
The 2 minutes from the
Well, I would have loved to have heard what Russell Joyce had to say there, but we've lost him, I think, unfortunately. Never mind. Lots to talk about after that race. Remember, you can catch all of the full race coverage online if you wish to. And we hope that you can join us again next time. As I said, we're back for the big meeting, the triple header at Brands Hatch, which is particularly exciting because the Miltech Sport Civic Cup will be joining the Touring Car Trophy TCR and VW Cup action with their own set of separate races that day. So the two Maximum Motorsport Run Championships will be on the same bill. It's going to be a bumper weekend of racing, that on the 19th and 20th of June. For now, though, I think that is just about all we have time for here at Castle Combe. From myself, Andy McEwen, and Paul O'Neill, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next time.